Wow, huh? I wanted to bring this to you today before I really got into my day. I still feel like I never quite got in my body from being, I don't know, off planet last night. Something has been going on for sure. But I wanted to bring it to you because I think it's really important about this time. And many of us are choosing to dive in to anything that keeps us out of alignment with the light or true self. So for me, I came as light. I'm to bring light in. I'm to read the light codes, and I'm to offer those codes to others for whatever it is they need to do or obtain or to enhance themselves. But to do that properly, I need to really embed those codes within myself and only be in that energy without any kind of duality, so I can integrate them properly. And these divine beings and these avatars and these archangels and the rest of the Galactic Council can speak through me clearly. So I have to align with that. So that's my mission. But in doing that, I had to go into the deepest stuck parts of self. So we know we have to do this, and we think we've reached a plateau and that we're kind of riding a wave, and then we get knocked underneath because we know there's more. Something's coming up. When you get those triggers, those little triggers, when somebody says something, and it doesn't matter how they say it, it's how we interpret it. So this is about understanding the identity that you think you have, what you think you know about yourself or who you are, is usually completely false. So that's what I really got in the last, I guess, about a month ago, that your identity has nothing to do with who or what you are, nothing whatsoever. So part of my identity, and I've taken crash courses, that's my thing, taking crash courses in life, because I don't want to stay on the wheel of incarnation and reincarnation and keep coming back. And I did agree to stay and help many others. So in that respect, yes, I had to keep coming back. And many of us do. We do choose that. But enough is enough. And right now, it's totally about acknowledging those parts of ourselves, any triggers, any wounds. Your identity has nothing to do with who and what you are. The true self is not of the mind. It is not human-made. It is not materialistic. And so that is what I did discover, that there was still a part of me that believed a very, very false reality about myself. And I had to keep looking at it and looking at it. And because it was such an old, deep wound, probably eons of time, but also this society now, for as long as I remember, as long as I was on this planet, there was a system of achievement that told the world who you were and what value you had. So being trained with that, not even consciously, like, it was just embedded in us. And I realized that when I had an abundance of money and things, and I could be really generous with people, help them out whenever they needed it, even beyond what they needed, to really relieve them of, say, financial stress or whatever it was they were going through, I found value in myself. So what does the soul do when it believes that its value comes to what it has and what it can give? Well, to heal that, the most drastic thing to do is to lose everything. To lose all land, all property, cars, finances, whatever it is to lose everything to discover then who you are, because it has nothing to do with what you have. So that's not the end of it, because then I went into several years of never feeling good enough, being compared to, say, other in-laws, what they did for my kids, or, you know, what they placed value on, not even consciously, but it was very apparent. And so that was really fascinating to watch. And it was like, oh, wow, I don't stand in that position anymore, because I don't have something tangible from the physical world that can meet that. And so my identity still was locked into what I had or didn't have, which has nothing to do with me as a soul. So that was a tough lesson to realize that my entire identity, yes, I have a whole spiritual side, I connect with divine realms, but that doesn't matter, because sure it matters, but I'm existing on this planet that now is no longer 3D. We went through the 4D shakeup. It's still shaked up, you know, even though we've gone into fifth dimensional, the beginning of fifth dimensional energy, it's still sorting out what needs to be healed or get stuck in a reality of destruction and stress and fear. And that's not where I wanted to exist. So it's been a time of relearning who I am, what I truly am. And that has nothing to do with physical form. It has nothing to do with material, wealth, or anything else. All it has to do with, I am light, and light I shall remain. And my job is only to bring that light through to with every step I take, with everything I touch. When I'm walking on the earth, I'm bringing that light through, embedding into the earth, the air, the trees, a person. I'll surround them with that light. They come through sometimes as different colors, different rays of light. And it's like I can reach my light out as long as I'm protecting myself. And I can extend that light, see it go to somebody that has maybe a green ray of light or a pink ray of light, or, you know, included in a golden ray of light. But still, this is really hard for most people to grasp. You are not what you have. You are not what you do. It has nothing to do with where your true value comes from. So this is what I set up in life, was to put everybody around me that looked like they had more than I did after my big crash. All right. So it was like to hold on to that disbelief that I could have worthiness, because now I'm still comparing myself with someone else, right? That's what we're taught as kids. Look at our school system. It's all comparing you, you know, especially when they do the curve and all of this ridiculous stuff that the school system, I'm glad the school system crashed. I'm not glad that some of the effects of the kids, but for the bullying to be allowed, for the kids that should be in trade schools and not disrupting an entire classroom, for people to be taught that they are valued on their test scores, is so barbaric and so narrow-minded. And it's only to train people to fit in this little tiny box. And that's why people are running around the planet right now with masks and in fear and not being able to think, you know, critical thinking for themselves, research for themselves, because they've been so trained by a rote system to fit into the mold of those that don't want us to be free beings, that have robbed us of our freedom for our entire existence. So it's enough of that. It's coming into your true self, going inside and knowing all truth comes from this divine center, which I call the sacred space, which is the divine heart. And right below the rib is the soul. It's almost like a soul gate. And then we've got our solar plex, which is about shining the light in the world and getting us what we need and bringing forth what is important for our lives. But all three of these working together are extremely powerful. And so as I open to this light and understanding my value comes, just like your value will never come for what you have. And you can still see in the world, not to judge, we don't want duality, but you can observe those that are very attached to the image of their car. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a beautiful car. I'm not saying that at all, but it's their image, you know, if they tie into it as a part of themselves, their home, their any stuff, what they have or don't have in the bank, their second homes, their third home, whatever it is, when they're attached to that, they believe it's part of their identity. And this is why people commit suicide or jump off buildings when their wealth has been demolished, because that's who they thought they were. And it's really sad. So I just wanted to share that with you, that it's not an easy thing for us to do as humans, is to realize that we felt our worth, our importance came from what we had or what we knew with the mind. And that is not the truth. The real leaders of the new world will be those that can think with all aspects of themselves, which is a total right-left brain, which is that figure eight sideways, which is married the divine masculine and feminine in that oneness. So each can operate with true integrity and love and compassion and non-duality. So yeah, and thank you for coming. I was going to try to use a different speaker system because I know my computer, for whatever reason, I had to have Apple make it because they took all the ports away. And I said, no, I want the port. Then they had to make it, but the speaker system is pretty raspy in this. But anyway, okay. Again, my identity doesn't come from my voice. And so I as light, I shall remain, and I will feel blessed to be able to bring that to you as soon as I fully integrate that light within me. My guides are saying that will happen the next 3 months if I intensely do what I am directed. It's no longer getting up in the morning and trying to say, oh, should I do this? Or maybe I should do that. It's none of that. It's being directed. And most of it's been increasing my time in nature. And that's vitally important for all of us. Okay, blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Go into the darkness, go into the shadows, go into questioning your identity, because it's not worth keeping. An identity based on what you have is not worth keeping. And if those around you, that's who they deem you to be worthy or unworthy, you don't want them in your life. All right. Many blessings.